Hey there. Welcome to my lesson. Today we are going to have two stories read to us that tie into our Fahrenheit 451 by Bradbury book that we've been reading, our novel. And we're going to have small groups, share and pair, and have a discussion about this. Ultimately, we're going to launch using these ideas from these three books with a theme that we're going to focus on, looking at the beginning, middle, and end, taking notes. And we're going to launch into you writing a book on kindness. All right. So think about these discussion topics as you take notes. And here are two stories read. The first one is Name Calling Nat, written by me, your teacher. And I am going to have you use your composition books. Open it up. As you can see, I've put the Jabberwock, which will be our second reading, in there. You can underline and highlight and take notes. The first reading, I'm going slow enough where you could take notes right on your SOAR card, which I have pasted into your composition book, and on your compare and contrast. Then we're going to, with our small groups, get together and look at Name Calling Nat, Jabberwock, and Fahrenheit 451. Look at how they're similar in the beginning, middle, and end. The theme, which is our state standard we're focusing on, and then seeing if we could launch into you writing a book on kindness. Ooh, so let's get started with our first reading. Called Name Calling Nat. It's a story about how your speech should be used, written and illustrated by Renee Smith. Hey there, that's me. All right. Let's see, this story is in Cambodia. It was written for New Hope for Orphans. And She Rescue Home, my friend's over there. And it's also at Hope International School. So let's see what it's about. It was inspired by Nick Wojcik of Life Without Limbs, and I also sent him a copy. Okay, it's about Nat. There's Nat. Ooh. Nat was a girl dog who lived in the capital city of Cambodia, Phnom Penh. Can you locate the Independence Monument? This monument is located in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, on the continent of Asia. Just so you know, I'm going to zoom in now to the Independence Monument. There it is. So this is kind of an interactive book where you get to do a little bit of I Spot. Nat thought to be cool, she could make fun of other kids. So she name-called Tita Panda Fat. The other kids laughed. And there's a little I Spy in there, so you could find this Kamai letter. If you're watching this, you can pause it and try to find the Kamai Cambodian letters and numbers throughout. So there's Tita Panda. How do you think she felt? Tita was so sad, she cried. Even though she knew Nat should not call names, Tita was not brave enough to ask Nat to stop. Have you ever felt like that? Oh. One day, a special speaker, Nick Lamb, came to school to talk to the kids about how name-calling hurts others and how we can use our words to be nice, which is way cooler than hurting others with our words. This funny, cute lamb was born with no arms or legs. He said Jesus gave him joy and peace, and he has a lot to be thankful for. Nat was convicted and wanted to change. Nick Lamb told Nat about how Jesus can help her. She could help others by her words with God's help. Name-calling Nat decided to change her mean ways and use kind names from now on. Nat made the right choice and said sorry to Tita Panda. She wanted to now use her words to build others up instead of tearing them down. Find the hidden Kamai letter. The Khmer or the Kamai letters are in here, there's the Cambodian flag. This says that is what God tells us in his word, the Holy Bible. Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is good for building others up. Ephesians 4:29. And here is a printable poster for, if you go at teacherspayteachers.com, you'll see this and you can print it out. And there's that Bible verse about if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything, guarding your mouth, right? Here it says, hidden Kamai letter in the picture. Can you find it? It also says if you have this book, you can print it out and watercolor paint it. I'm not going to tell you where that lives, but I think you can find it. If you look at the head of a sheep is your clue. Where to find the hidden Kamai letter. Here it says, talks about another Bible verse, how your words can be, well, let me just read it to you from God's word. A word aptly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. Proverbs 25:11. We're thinking about using our words for kind words and building others up with this story. And it started off the beginning with mean, how that dog was being mean and unkind and hurt feelings. And then it went to maybe needing to stop saying mean things and to use kind words, right? So we're just going to get to the end here. And this tells you that's the Cambodian flag and the colors of the flag that I showed you another one. And there I am, Mrs. Smith, about the other, if you wanted to pause and read that. If not, you can be done. And we'll be going on from here, hopefully using positive words to build others up and make them feel good about themselves. All right, guys, our next one is the Jabberwock. So you can pull out your Jabberwock that I have printed for each of you, and you can underline things because remember, we're looking at the theme and we're going to write out the beginning, middle, and end as we compare and contrast. So we're going to end with Fahrenheit that I know you guys have already worked on, and we'll just work on your worksheet. And then we'll launch into your kindness stories from these read alouds. All right. We're going to use context to determine meaning from the imaginative words in the Jabberwocky. Hey there. We're going to do a reading of the Jabberwocky. Feel free to read along, and then we're going to be inspired to write our own story based on the inspiration of Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brilliant, and the sleethy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rats outgaped. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jubjub bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand. Long time the manonine foe he sought, so rested he by the tumtum tree, and stood a while in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock, with eyes of flame, came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through. The vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, Frabia's joy. Callooh-callay! He quartled in his joy. 'Twas brilliant, and the slithy toves did jar and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome rats outgape. All right, so that was the Jabberwock, and now we are going to launch into our small groups to discuss this before we look at how we're going to use it for the writing process, because we're in the pre-writing stage. I just want to give you guys a sneak peek how we're going to use this. We got Every Child's an Author. I am really excited about what came in the mail just today is our little
package where I can launch you guys into being authors. And so this came in the mail where we get to then launch into our kindness story where we're going to illustrate. So think visually when you get in your small groups of how you can visually start sketching and getting ideas for your kindness story. So we're going to do now with our share and pair using your notebook you have had introduced at the beginning of this class. We're going to now get in our small groups and do pair and share. Then we're going to use the anchor chart where I'm going to have volunteer write down how we use the state standard, which was the theme, and found the theme in these 3 readings that we're comparing. Okay, so the novel we've been reading is Fahrenheit 451. So by Bradbury, you already have your notes on those along with textual support. So that's what we're looking for in the text, you guys finding where we can find the theme and where we could find the beginning, middle, and end, and how they compare. All 3 of these compare so brilliantly, I found, and I can't wait to hear what you find with your small group as you think and share. But first, let's look at our comparison readings. The theme of name calling Nat was kindness. Yes, you got it. And that's how we're going to launch into this with using what we found on these readings, and we're going to launch like a rocket ship launches into your kindness story, your narrative writing after this lesson. So we're not going to do that today, but we're just getting ideas so you can jot down notes in your notebook, including visual ideas, visualization, like we've done with Fahrenheit 451. All right, so let's start with that since we've already done the beginning, middle, and end of Fahrenheit 451. It's our novel we've read together. The theme is, as you guys already have told me in small groups, overcome for a bright future and fresh start. That's in the text 148 to 150, where our main character, Guy, the firefighter, Montag, starts to memorize scripture, parts of the Bible, and to realize they get to have a fresh start after the bombs came and everything slows down for the burning of books, right? That was the beginning, burning of books, middle, culmination of conviction, right? Just like on name calling Nat. And the end was this. All right, these are kind of the ends. The Jabberwock ends, and the theme was overcome for joy, right? You're going to break down the beginning, middle, and end in your small groups, but we're going over what was in the text, verse 24 and 25. Look at those verses. Did you underline them? That's where he says joy, the word, that's a quote, by getting rid of the evil presence of the Jabberwock. So we're going to look at that a little more closely in the poem we had read, and the theme of kindness that we're going to build on as we launch into your kindness story, right? So in the text, it says, use kind words, page 7 in name calling Nat. Are you ready to think, pair, and share? Let's get in your small groups using your notebooks. You guys can see I have sticky notes at each of your stations, so you can then mark in the name calling Nat books I provided for you and in your notebooks. Also, as you did in Fahrenheit 451. So you want to use your composition books to get all your notes in there, okay? So I'm going to show you in my composition book, because actually I'm not going to show any students online to infringe in your privacy. So I am going to show you mine and say you guys just did a think, pair, and share in your tables using your supplies. As I've taught you, you can use the visualization, use your little colors I have for you. As you can see, at every table has some colors. And hopefully you underlined where in the text we found what we needed to for your beginning, middle, and end. Break this down. All right. So write an opinion. Soar. Did you guys saw these glued in? S, state an opinion. O, offer reasons. A, add examples. And R, restate opinion. Okay. Did anybody want to share what they got? Yes, Maddie. You will use ideas for your kindness book? I love that. Great idea. And add examples. You're thinking of doing a rabbit? Oh, because in the name calling Nat book, you saw I used a dog for Nat. Awesome. I love how you launched off getting ideas from our readings so you can launch into your kindness story. Love it. Okay, Max, what'd you get? be kind is the ending, and how we could also use the ending in your book. That's exactly right. So we're all going to have the same theme. And I tried to get 3 readings that have a similar theme, similar line going throughout, that start kind of, we'll look at the beginning, middle, and end next, because you're on your compare and contrast. What'd you guys get? Remember, I taught you how you could use your whole composition book. You don't have to stay in the squares. It's a starting point for your small groups. Anyone? Okay, Melody, what'd you get? So for the same, in the same square, there was meanness, danger, and unkindness. All 3 start dangerously. Ooh, good job, Maddie. Awesome. How about different? Everybody agrees that all 3 started kind of dangerously. Mean, danger with the Jabberwock, right? Describing the claws, and the burning of books. Excellent job, Tiger. Yeah. Oh, Tiger, you wanted to tell us now what's different, what you got on your chart for differences? Okay, the burning of the books, got that. The name calling and name calling that, got that for, those are a little difference. Ooh, and the battle with a sword. Yes, good job, Tiger. So you noticed those were some differences. And how, what? In Fahrenheit, they use censorship. And in name calling Nat, they use words to hurt others. Both of them were hurtful, weren't they? Everybody agrees on that? Good job. All right, so now let's look in your notebooks what I had you get together with your think, share, and pair time. And that's working on the beginning, the middle, and the end of your story, with getting text support, what page numbers on each of those, building to the theme. And then we're going to launch into thinking of how we could use this in the future with your kindness story to have a beginning, middle, and end. So let's look at the beginning, middle, and end. Who wants to go first? All right, Lily, what'd you get? Name calling Nat? Okay, Jabberwock and Fahrenheit. Let's start with the beginning. So name calling Nat had Lily. Mean name calling. I agree. Thumbs up if you agree with Lily. Okay, what about Jabberwock? Beware of the Jabberwock. Verse 5. Good job, Lily, naming a verse. I wrote that one down too. It said beware. Okay, so it's name calling, beware. And how about Fahrenheit 451? The burning of books. Excellent job. And that was right introduced in the first chapter. Way to go, citing in the text. Page 11 you had? Good job, Lily. All right, so that's in the beginning. And if you guys get an idea that someone shares, let's write that on there. Page 11, Lily shared, is where she found in the text there was the burning of books. That was the beginning. Name calling that, the Jabberwock, and Fahrenheit. I saw a similarity. Did you guys see a similarity? And the differences, as Max noted, were a little bit different, but the theme that we're looking at, let's see what happens in the middle. The middle, Jaden. All right, so the middle of name calling Nat, conviction of Nat. Conviction was on where? Where did you cite that in the text? Page 6. Excellent job. It said Nat was convicted. Okay. Jaden, what about Jabberwock? The battle with the sword, verse 18. I love how you underlined in the text. Let's all turn to our text and look at verse 18. Do you see the word sword there? Okay. The vorpal blade went snicker, snack through and through. All right. That definitely describes a sword. Good job using your context with your text there. All right. So Jaden, you got name calling Nat the beginning, or the middle. Lily did the beginning. You got the middle. The battle with the sword, verse 18. How about in Fahrenheit? Conviction. Look at those similarities. Good job, Jaden. You had conviction on page 67. Guy Montag was also convicted, as was name calling Nat. Way to go finding the similarities in the text. All right. That was the beginning and the middle. How about the end as we get to the theme? I think the climatic ending of these stories all, you guys would agree, are similar with the tying into the theme. Let's see. Who else would like to go? Oh, all right. Go ahead, Mackenzie. All right, you raised your hand first. All right, you're going to, in name calling Nat, use kind words. You got it. All right. Page 7. Excellent. Getting that in the text. Everybody has that down? Your textual support. What about in the Jabberwock? Okay, Mackenzie, page 24 or verse 24 and 25. That was a poem with verses. Let's all see if we have what Mackenzie got. She said, let's look at 24 and 25. That's the word joy. Let's all circle the word joy. Okay, he cohorted in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and 25, because that's what you wanted us to hear, Mackenzie, brillig? Because you thought that was a positive word based on the context? Way to go. So joy of getting rid of the evil presence, verse 24 and 25. I totally agree with Mackenzie. All right, and that has kind endings. Both of them are positive. They end positively after a dark presence, something negative to start with that had to be battled. Excellent. Let's look at the last one, Mackenzie. I agree. Fresh start. In the text of Fahrenheit, page 148 to 150, the fresh start, I think, is paralleled in all of these, that Nat was going to have a fresh start to be nice instead of mean. In the Jabberwock, they got rid of evil. Now they have joy. That's like a fresh start, right? Of emotions starting to press, and then you break through and you get happy. And in Fahrenheit, having a fresh start of a new future where they can have books. Wow. You guys did amazing finding the themes. And I think I agree with Mackenzie. All the themes culminated with the ending. And I'd like for you to use these ideas now as we launch into you writing your kindness story. Can't wait to hear more. All right. So let's finish with an anchor chart. Who'd like to work on that poster for us? All right. Way to go, Mackenzie and Lily. All right, Tiger, you too. You three could work